Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. It is time once again for the Wise Home Energy Show on the WYSL stations. And we have the Major Domo in studio.
Pure energy.
Yes, it's Jeff Flaherty. Hi.
Hey, Bob. Always great to be back here, and I'm always shocked you let me back in. I'm surprised you don't change the locks, but you let me in. I appreciate it.
If you don't come, I have to do the show all by myself, and I just, I'm too lazy for that.
Well, I'd like to outsource it. Maybe I should do that. I don't know. We'll have to talk after the show.
But, no offshore announcers, please.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
We have to be able to understand them.
We have to keep it local. Apparently, I have a Rochester accent. Whenever I travel, I'm told that I have a real hard Rochester accent. I don't know what that is.
I mean,
that's a thing?
Oh, I got in a car accident. I had to go to the hospital. It hurt my back.
Yeah, what's the name of our county? What do they call it? Because I guess I call it Monroe. What is it? Monroe?
Monroe County.
I get it very confused.
That's actually a Great Lakes accent, I think.
Is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah.
Then I think
the people in Chicago and Cleveland talk the same way.
Nice. So what beautiful. We're having a little spring here.
Yeah,
finally.
Absolutely. And I'm sure that presents new challenges as far as, keeping your home comfortable and not moldy and not damp.
It does. Water infiltration in the basements can be a big problem. It seems like it's become a habit. Maybe we've got to come up with a name for this, but we always seem to come and do the show and talk about a funny call or client that we've had, and we have one that happened this past week where this gentleman a couple years ago was emailing us because he had just gotten a new furnace and air conditioner installed, and his bathroom wasn't comfortable. And so we're emailing, and we'll do some cursory investigation. I said, why don't you send me over some pictures? And he had really gone with a big name company and had paid the gold dollar amount for the package. And I said, why don't you go back to them? I mean, they're the one who installed the HVAC equipment. There's nothing they can do with it. And
what?
And so I really said, you need an assessment with a blower door. We need to collect a lot of data. And sometimes, as it happens, many emails go by and it falls by the wayside. So lo and behold, the gentleman has just emailed again, and in these past few years, he decided to get some new installations. Now, his home was about 20 years old, pretty good size home, 2,400 square foot, and he decided to get insulation in his attic and his basement, and he sent us the quote. And he wants it fixed, so that's always a bad sign.
He sent the old quote?
He sent the actual contract that he had, and it's a company that we're familiar with. They have kind of a blanket one-size-fits-all price. It's the same amount no matter what size house you get. And so what we find is that maybe lacks on quality and lacks on performance, and probably isn't really follow the code prescription of air sealing before you insulate. It says it on the contract, but when we dig through the insulation, we usually don't find that to be the case. And we almost know it's not going to be the case because the price is so cheap that I don't know how they would possibly do it for that, because it's not feasible. So unfortunately, it looks like he went that route, and we have a big giant insulation vacuum that we use for jobs like that, and ironically, that kind of costs usually about what their insulation costs to remove it. So we're not at that stage yet, but when you get insulation done, we view it as really a 20-year measure or really a lifetime a measure, because once it's done and done right and a tree doesn't fall on your house, it should really last a lifetime. And so it's a bad sign if you're needing more insulation if you just had insulation last year. And so now he would like us to do an energy assessment. And so what does that mean? That's kind of to me like having two major surgeries, and then you don't feel good, and you're like, maybe I should get a physical. and some blood tests. Maybe we should figure out what's going on here. So for us, we view that as the syntax error, if that's still a relevant term. We're doing things out of order. We want to do that physical first, and the only thing that's missing is he hasn't done his windows. Because if he would have done his windows, his insulation, and his HVAC, he would have completely done all the things that we would recommend in a certain order after we did our physical. So usually these stories end in some heartache and some financial pain for people because they either have to take the financial hit and redo the stuff that was done wrong, or they have to take the physical pain of just living with it and knowing that, maybe next time they'll choose a better path. And I always think back to when I was young and dumb, and now I'm not young anymore. I still have the other side of the equation. That I had my first house and my dishwasher went, and I didn't know. So I went out to the store, and there's 3 types of dishwashers, and the one that had the lowest price was the most attractive to me. I was like, it washes dishes. The name says it all. And then I put it in the house, and it didn't actually wash the dishes. It paid for, I had to pay for the water and the electric, but it was really just a rinser of dishes. So I found at that early stage that when we look at value, quality, and premium, value can serve its purpose. But it sometimes doesn't really get you what you want. And really in home performance, value is going to be a challenge a lot of times and cause some problems down the road. So
if it's really cheap, there's a reason.
That's right. So we're often asked at Wise Home Energy, how do you know all this stuff? How do you get this this knowledge base? And so we invest in a lot of training. We know that we currently don't know it all. We think we know a lot of it, but we're going to keep advancing our education and knowledge in this industry. And so recently we were down at the what is it called? The NHPC, the National Home Performance Coalition. Changes around each year, locations. We were in Minneapolis. And when we were at that show, conference, so there's a bunch of days with just different education modules and heat pumps and moisture mitigation and insulation and how we improve the industry and our knowledge as we go out and install these items. And it was shocking, but I only saw 2 other contractors in Western New York at that conference. And hats off to those 2 contractors, because if you stop learning in any industry, I think you're done. So what it was great for us to see is some of the stuff that we've been doing for a few years that we had picked up. This seems to be starting to come the accepted best practices. So it's exciting to know that we sort of knew we were already on the right path. For example, ducted heat pumps. Many people, they're the new buzz heat pumps. So they're typically trying to put in the ductless, the ones on the walls, and those have their pros and they have their cons. And we're not going to go to those be our primary choice. We're going to go to the ducted system first. And in this ducted system, tough to fit the old ductwork. And so there's tests that we do and modifications that we do that make that heat pump perform properly. So just because you put in a heat pump doesn't mean it's going to be efficient. It could drive your bills up if you haven't tightened up your home, if your ductwork doesn't match up well to this HVAC system. So very exciting to see that the things that we've been implementing for quite a few years now are becoming mainstream. But they're only mainstream to the people that go to those conferences. So that's kind of shocking. I wish people would spend some time and keep educating, because as more and more people choose contractors other than Wise Home Energy, they may be getting a lesser product that is not going to save money. It's going to cause comfort problems. And the third problem is it's going to ruin the industry, because people are going to think heat pumps don't work. And they do work when they're done right. So it's exciting. We spend a lot of time on education, and that allows us to have people grow in the industry in our company and continue to provide these excellent services for our clients. So we just happen to have one of our folks from Wise Home Energy. There's 25 people currently at Wise Home Energy. And so in studio, we're lucky enough to have our general manager here, Ryan Puckett. Ryan has been with us, I'm not good at math, but over 10 years.
It's been a while.
And so welcome, Ryan. He's going to tell us a little bit about his background in the company and how he got started. So welcome, Ryan.
Yeah, Jeff, thanks for having me on, and thanks for keeping me employed at Wise Home Energy. I'm a 33-year-old that loves home performance and likes fixing buildings and wants to make the world a better place. So I went to school for building science, particularly environmental science, sustainable building design, and business management, and needed a career after coming out of school in 2008, 2009, and found Wise Home Energy here in Rochester, where I grew up, and started as an insulation installer out of school.
So your first gig was Wise?
My first official big boy gig was Wise Home Energy.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yep, and have been able to grow with this company over the years, but started really at the bottom. Which is a tough position. I give credit to our insulation installers every single day. But I figured out how a house actually works by doing the work in these homes and really understanding and learning and getting the continued training that Wise Home Energy offered, and was able to grow from an insulation installer to a project manager or energy auditor, and then now into my role as a general manager of the company. And I think really I put in a lot of work, but I was offered the education and the training to get to where I am now. And in these green energy fields, the industry really is going to continue to grow. And I'm here today, I think, mainly to just talk about the opportunities that exist in this industry for people my age or younger that are considering going to college or considering a career path going forward. And I would just like to say that there is definitely opportunity in this field. It's only going to continue to grow over the next 50 years. Your lifespan, this is going to be something that we all have to pay attention to. And like Jeff was saying earlier, it's kind of a shame that, business as usual continues to happen because technology advances, people advance. We've figured out new ways of doing things. And at Wise Home Energy, we're allowed to figure that out. So it's been a great career.
What's the biggest change you've seen in the industry in your 10 years?
Oh, wow.
Your 10-year career thus far?
Yeah. Well, heat pumps really is the hot ticket item. That's something that when I started with this company, I figured let's insulate my home and make it really energy efficient. And I installed a new high efficiency furnace. Thanks to Jeff for a decent price on that. And then the next year I realized what heat pumps could do and realized I made a poor decision by installing a furnace when I could have gone with a high efficiency inverter heat pump system, which I now also have one of those in my home, but I didn't need to go through the first process of installing that gas furnace because it's a 25-year investment that you're going to make. It's a big investment, probably one of the biggest you have in your homes. So as a homeowner, you really want to make the right decision when you're upgrading your heating or cooling system and have all the information and knowledge to make the proper decision for your home. So that really is the thing that's taken off, I would say, over the past 10 years that I've been with Wise.
Heat pumps are it, huh, Jeff?
Absolutely. It's been a shocking route for me, and I do believe in competition of the two different fuel sources, but we, for 10 years, 15 years, gas was considered to be much more efficient and cleaner than electric because the way we produced electric could fall to coal-fired plants. So we went to the gas appliances whenever we could. They're kind of low combustion compared to propane and oil, and not as dirty as those fuels. So it was kind of a shock for me, and Ryan's been instrumental in kind of bringing that technology to Wise Home Energy. So we really were, I would say, one of the first on board in Western New York. And there's a learning curve, and so the education, we can go to these classes, but some of it is just spending your your free time. There's always a cost to education, right? Somebody's going to pay for that education. So Ryan and I are probably cut from a similar mold where we're investing some of our off hours in educating ourselves. But he's a great example of that education has allowed him to improve, grow in the company. He adds more value to the company because he is now the general manager and in line with the company's values of doing really good work, doing work that is sustainable for the customer, sustainable for the environment. So it's a fun process, but it's a fun process to see that one is he went to school for it. So what's your opportunities? You can be a pencil pusher. So instead he had to start from the bottom, learned the physical traits of all the different avenues that we have in the company, and then now he's kind of pencil pushing a lot, but he is able to talk to people and know exactly the challenges that they face on a day-to-day basis, right? We're out in people's homes. There's a long-standing joke I always say that the homes are kind of easy to fix. It's the people and their possessions that kind of get in our way and can sidetrack us. But it's just because they're trying to throw you off your game. We're like a plane flying to California, and all these things are just wind forces and temperature forces that are kind of guiding us off our path.
Headwinds.
Yeah, we got to stay focused on what we're doing. So, but it's neat to see his path. And then we get to show that path to other people. You can come in and you can get your position and stay there, or you can look to grow. If you grow your knowledge base and your value for our clients, you will grow the value for the company, and you can grow with us. So it's exciting to see. But we certainly view Ryan as a model of what you can do in this industry.
I could see why.
Yeah.
Wise Home Energy Show on the WYSL stations with Jeff and Ryan here in studio. Now, you talked about education, after hours or whatever, when you're not in the midst of installing heat pumps or doing blower doors. And I know, like, for example, in the practice of law, we have CLA, which is the continuing legal education. Is there an industry-wide group that provides this education and training and updates for you guys?
Absolutely. So that conference that we just went to, that offers continuing education credits. So in order to keep our certifications, we need to get, I believe it's 30 continuing education credits over 3 years. And the downside is there's a little, you can go online and do these webinars, and you can have your assistant watch these webinars, and to go out to these events and talk to like-minded people. There's a lot happening at the conference. You step outside the conference and there's some dining facilities. There's a lot of good conversations that happen there of, what are you folks doing in California? What are you doing in Oregon? And we're able to just share with people that are the best in the industry. So, there is education, but some of it, just similar to that dishwasher, there's value, quality, and premium education. So the ones we are trying to focus on are certainly the quality and the premium education credits that we can access. So.
Yeah, you want real information, not just checking a box saying, okay, I did my education thing. I did it online.
Absolutely.
I'm done.
Absolutely.
I would think that's the same with any industry, Bob, too, with being a lawyer or an
I'm sure
attorney,
it is.
right? You have the people that rise to the top, and you have the ones that are, lowest on the list. So we'd like to really have, take that education seriously when we participate in it, teach in it, and also learn from everybody else, and also have the mindset of having to be a lifelong learner. We want to continue to grow.
I got to believe it's really satisfying when you've got somebody who's they've tried the civilian approach of I'm not warm in my home, so what I'll do is I'll put in insulation. That doesn't work. Probably the furnace needs to be replaced. It's 10 years old. Replace the furnace. Still have problems, and it's got to be gratifying. I think if you come to a frustrating case history like that, and you fix the thing, whatever it is, what the condition is for the consumer, and they're totally amazed and completely gratified.
Yeah, we definitely have those examples. It's definitely gratifying to be able to solve an issue for somebody. It's also frustrating that they had to take that long path to get to us, right? It's investment, it's time, it's trial and error that a lot of our customers go through before we're able to come in and really diagnose what's going on and provide, I think the best path forward. And that's really our whole goal here, is to figure out what the home needs, what our customers want, and then how to make that happen in the right stage. We don't start any project, and this is something that a lot of people have asked me, is where do you start if you're looking to upgrade your heating system, or if you have an issue in your home? Do you call an HVAC contractor? Do you call a roofer? Do you call somebody that's doing windows? And I think the home performance path is the best option, because we can come in and test things and provide you with actual data and solutions and a recommendation for which direction you'd want to go. And every home is different and every homeowner is different. But with that scientific knowledge of someone's home and how it's operating, they can make a better informed path to go forward. So that's really what I think home performance is, setting itself apart in the contracting world with data. We're not just selling a thing.
Yeah, to that point, the data that we're looking at, we talk about that blower door test so often, Bob. I mean, it almost seems like a little bit of a fixation I have, but it is, because when we get a call and somebody has the problem and then they say, I said, well, you need a blower door test. Yeah, I think I had one of those. Oh, what was the result of it? Yeah, they said it was pretty good. Well, pretty good is, I had a burger that was pretty good, but it wasn't a steak. And it's not really it's not really a metric. Pretty good isn't really a metric. So I'm always thinking, do you have a picture of that blower door? That's like, did they just write down a number? I mean, I can get a Post-it note and I can write down 4,000 different numbers and hand them out all over the country. To me, that's not really a blower door. The picture of the blower door, the picture of the manometer that tells you what the leakage is. We geotag it to the home. So we're providing really irrefutable evidence of what that home is currently sitting in that condition. And so I recently had a customer call up that we did about 8 years ago. And, I would tell you that, we're considerably better than we were 8 years ago, but I looked at this job and I liked what we did. But they had, suddenly kind of said, well, we got a little moisture in our attic. They had remodeled their bathroom, and they had put in a bath fan, in the person didn't seal the bath fan and didn't duct the bath fan properly, and all the moisture was leaking up into the space. They also took the hatch that we had kind of sealed and properly installed, and when they went up there to get in there, they didn't really reinstall that. So they've altered the work we did. The other thing they did was we had installed some soffit vents, which was a wood soffit, and they decided to add some kind of vinyl trim in. So then they put vented vinyl soffit over it. So now that restricts the flow. So they kind of altered our system. And so we're going to work with them and do some minor repairs. But to me, this stuff works. Our designs, usually work, knock on wood. Some things can go, off the rails a little bit. But it works, and as long as you don't mess with it, or you give us a call and consult with us before you do it, you should be in good shape. And what happened with this bath fan, we haven't really finished it up, but they altered the flow. They didn't connect it properly, and what I hear is water in there. Like it's not doing what it was intentionally doing when we installed it and vented it out.
Water in a bath fan, I don't think.
It's not good.
No.
But it's common.
Very common.
We see it all the time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Amazing. I think it's important. Jeff has used the term system repeatedly here on the show, and that's important. The soffit vents, the way that the bath fan was vented, this is all part of a whole that is designed to work.
Yes.
And if in your rowboat you have a bottom system, and anything that allows the water to come in kind of defeats the system in the rowboat.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, it really, really is a system. I think of the cars and tires and shocks and struts and braking components, and to just, swap out one of those parts if there's not a good thought on what that part was, and then the test afterwards. Go take it for a drive. And that's kind of the same, boat we're in, is we want to look at the whole system. We can avoid some pitfalls when we're examining everything and looking at everything. And many people just want us to run us to the problem and run us upstairs. Come look at my attic. And, well, that can have, the mold on your ceiling could be contributed to your runaway humidifier. There can be a lot of things that affect the home, and we're only there for 3 hours, 2 or 3 hours for a visit. We're only there at a very short window. We need to capture the data that we can at that moment, and extrapolate that and see how the pieces and parts go together. And we're very good at doing that.
It's interesting to me. We've talked about boats, cars, and now houses, which is what we're working on. But houses are probably built the least controlled out of those three things. Boats and cars are built in a factory. There's a lot of quality assurance inspections that are going on. Houses are thrown up. That's another thing I've learned over the past 10 years. It's construction. It's messy. And really you need to tune and tweak the systems in the home to all work together to make it comfortable, comfortable and quality and beneficial to live in a home for you and your family.
And the home's built to a price point too.
It is.
Absolutely.
Just like the car or the boat.
Yeah.
I mean, you can buy, what does one cost? All depends on the quality.
Yeah.
Right.
Lowest bid. That's what won that job, right? So.
Could be.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want a house like that, but a lot of people build them that way.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're concerned about your home, certainly give Wise Home Energy a call, 585-270-5836. We access all the NYSERDA grants. Everyone is eligible for a no-cost assessment. We add on a blower door typically if the house is not McMansion or it doesn't need advanced diagnostics. We're now adding that blower door on for no cost. So it's we're not going to provide you a bunch of blower door reports, but we're going to show you that number, and you can feel that air leaking through your home. And when you're out at work, that air is leaking out of your home. If you go on vacation, that air is leaking out of your home. So that is one of the main things that we focus on, because we have to know how much air is leaking out of that home so we can look at the other issues in the home.
There you go. Before you do the expensive, frustrating route, which is spending a lot of money on insulation, windows, HVAC equipment, start at the beginning and call Wise Home Energy.
585-270-5836. Don't be cold in your home. Pick up the phone.
Thanks, Jeff Flaherty. Ryan, good to talk to you.
Great to meet you, Bob.
All right. See you next time on the Wise Home Energy Show.